Okay, what we have here in this video is maybe the best goal line slash red zone passing concept in the entire game, particularly between the 0 and 10, and then particularly against zone coverages. So in this area of the field, you primarily, in terms of online head-to-head, will see spot drop zone coverages like cover 2, cover 3, cover 4 drop. And then people will, shade underneath or maybe protect the sticks to get all those underneath zones right on the goal line. And then it can be, as easy as offense is in this game, it can still be a little bit tough in the goal line. So what I found here is something that is really, really easy to use, that you can set up in pretty much every single playbook out there, and really requires little of you in terms of reading the defense. So I did something like this similar in an earlier video where I had 2x2 spread right here, where to the field I would do a little slant flat, which was good against cover 3, cover 4 drop. And then on the other side I had this type of thing where I had a curl for number 2 and then a goal line fade from number 1 into the boundary. And this was good in most cases. The only thing is that it required a bit of a read from you. You had to read who was open, either the fade or the curl. And then in some cases, like cover 2 hard flat, none of them were really open. But what I've realized since then is that if you get the back involved with, say, this route right here, just a little streak route, that'll help pull hard flats inside and allow this fade, this goal line fade to the boundary. So he has to be to the boundary. Gets open against, I think, any single type of zone coverage thrown at you. There's a little bit of issue with man coverage, but we'll kind of clear that up. And that's 2x2. You can also do this out of a number of trip sets. Like if this number 3 receiver was the tight end attached to the tackle, if you run like a flat or something like that, that can work just as well. But I like this. I think this works maybe best from what I've seen so far. So anyway, right here where we're just coming up against stock cover 3, you probably won't see this, but in case you do, against maybe worse players, you see how this goal line fade gets wide open at the boundary. So what happens there is that outside third gets drawn in by this curl from number 2, and he kind of forgets this goal line fade right here, and the flat defender is not able to get out there in time. Now, if they do something like a hard flat, like this, he'll shoot out there and play that goal line fade better, but then this curl would be wide open right here. Now, even better, once we get the back involved right here, we don't even really need to concern ourselves with that. So like I was saying, this will pull the hard flat inside as long as we're a little bit patient. You see he'll come back inside and we can still go ahead and throw the goal line fade. And another good thing about this is that it's quick. You don't need to worry about the pressure. It's to the boundary. It's unexpected, so the user's never really going to come out there. And even still, I think this little route from the running back will tend to draw that user in. So I'll go ahead and show that again. Cover 3 hard flat. I could just as well throw this curl to the tight end, but if we're a little bit patient right here, we can just get wide open right here by the sideline. Okay, so that's cover 3. We can go to cover 4 drop right here. So this really works out the same in most cases, and it's not different here. So this is cover 4 drop stock. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. A little seamer from the running back, curl from number 2, and the goal line fade over here. Again, you see wide open right here, easy peasy. And then we'll go ahead and go hard flats underneath. Same exact setup right here. We could also do, slant flat to the other side, but we don't really need to. Again, it's the same thing. Actually, am I in cover 3 right here? Yeah, my apologies. I'm in cover 3. Okay, cover 4 drop with the hard flats. Nope, with the hard flats. These buggy adjustments. Okay, there we go. Hard flats. Okay, again, same thing. Just need to be a little bit patient for the hard flat to come down. And again, we are good. So again, yeah, cover 3, cover 4 drop, pretty much the same thing. Now we go to cover 2. So cover 2, you have, things are a little bit different. I mean, you still have a hook, a flat, and a deeper zone, but it's just a little bit different in terms of deep halves and verts and stuff like that. But what's great about this concept, we don't need to care. We don't really care what the coverage is. It'll work against everything. That curl will bring in that cloud flat, and you see we're even more open right here against cover 2, which is pretty popular in this area. Now again, this concept that I showed before struggled against cover 2 hard flats because it was hard to get this goal line fade above that hard flat. but now that you have this route from the running back, it will draw in that hard flat. You just have to be patient, and once he leaves, then you go ahead and toe tap that and get your 6 points, and you're good to go. And then we can, even take this a step further right here. I don't think you really see this so much anymore, but let's say they're doing this like stacking of flats. So we have a hard flat from the cover 3 or cover 4 drop, whatever, and then let's say we put a cloud flat over here to play above that. But again, because we have these 2 routes inside, pulling those away, and this goal line fade does a good job getting wide, you see that both of them essentially leave the guy, and again, we can score. So that's pretty much it against zone coverage. Man coverage, obviously, you won't really be able to do this sort of thing. So you see that, obviously man-to-man, you won't get pulled by those inside routes, and then, you can't really do anything here unless maybe you have the goal line ability. But if it is man, if you suspect man, what you can do is you can always hit this curl route for number 2. This halfback will get in the way if you decide to go that way. So what you can do is just swing him out. And then no matter if the number 2 gets pressed on the curl or not, in this case he doesn't, just this particular formation, I can't get that guy to press. But what you're going to do is just do a low ball right before the break, essentially. So right like this, do a low ball right here, and then I think that's a pretty easy score that way. And just to kind of show you, let's go this setup right here against cover 3. You'll still get the same behavior over here where you can get this guy wide open. Now, if they're running cover 3 hard flats, and maybe you could run this all the time. Maybe you don't need to run the seamer from the back. I think maybe this situation's a little bit better. The hard flat won't get pulled inside, but he'll get pulled down, and so you just have to throw that above that hard flat. And just the final thing to talk about here, we have cover 4 quarters. So you rarely, cover 4 quarters I think is pretty rare in general, but especially at this part in the field, I don't think you see it as much. Here, what you'll essentially have is man-to-man on the outside. And what that means is that if you throw it late, then that corner will actually make a nice play on that. But if you read it like man, and I get that at this point, maybe it's probably too tough and maybe you should just throw it away. But if you read it like man and you see the bump on the outside, you can, again, go back to the curl right here, right before his break, do the low ball right there, and usually that safety, even though he's good, can't react. But yeah, maybe for quarters, if you don't really have to risk it, maybe you go with something else, like the slant flat over here, right there, and that'll be just fine. But again, I think it's really, really, really rare to see match quarters. If you see like cover 4 quarters in the red zone, usually guys are doing things like protecting the sticks or having their zone drops on anyway, and it just becomes cover 4 drop, and then it's kind of the same as what I showed earlier. So I'm not too concerned about this, but I think it's quite good against all the other types of zone coverages. And then I think just a couple other disclaimers. As with all my videos, I only test it on next gen. So if you're running this on current gen, try it in practice first, make sure it works against all the different types of coverages. And then in general, I would say that even if you're on next gen, try it out, get a feel for it. Try it out in different formations with different, the most important thing is the goal line fade to the boundary. I bet you there's other ways that you can manufacture what I'm trying to get here. This might not be the best route combination. It might not be the best formation. It might not be the best route combination for this specific formation. So play around with it. Maybe you can find something better than what I have, or at least play around with it and make it suitable for what you like to run your playbook, and then take it from there. I think it's really the best. I think it's pretty simple. I hope you like it, and we'll see you in the next one.